Welcome back. You're listening to another episode of the What is Humans podcast with Shane Strunk and Dennis Kaluba. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at What is Humans podcast, on TikTok at What is Humans podcast, and on YouTube at What is Humans podcast. Today, Shane and I are discussing delusional confidence. Enjoy.
Hey, welcome. You're on the What is Humans podcast. If you're new to the show, What is Humans podcast is conversations and personal development where Dennis Kaluba and myself, Shane Strunk, talk about everyday life, experiences from life. So hopefully from having these conversations and growth, you can find value in them as well. So Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
And most importantly, we're experts in almost nothing. Man, I always miss that last part.
I know. You do so good at the beginning.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so we're talking about delusional confidence.
Yeah.
We were just off air a second ago. We were saying it was the story of our lives, but What is delusional confidence? Where's this come from? What does that mean?
I think it'll be hard to kind of pinpoint where the topic actually came from, but the way that I kind of see it, and it'll be interesting to see how you view it yourself, but it's this idea that whatever goals or aspirations that we have for ourselves, it's almost being a little bit like
Naive?
No, yeah, I would say like insane about what you can possibly achieve. Like almost put it out there into existence that whatever you think is possible, it's so much bigger, so much grander than what you can even imagine for yourself. So it's challenging you to have this amazing idea of what you could possibly achieve and who you are in order to maybe achieve more than you originally thought was possible.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we should just wrap there. That's
the
whole
end
topic.
of the episode. Exactly.
No, I love that. I think there's going to be topics around like insecurity when it comes to setting goals, ambitions, maybe the fear that's tied to these things, and also like, is it beneficial to be delusional sometime, to be young and naive, to be brash and brave, or is it detrimental? I feel like we've talked about both sides of this spectrum a lot on this podcast. So I think when I think of delusional confidence, it doesn't sound super positive. So, I mean, confidence does, but I think delusional, just that term in culture, is never a good thing. Yeah. So I'm thinking we're going to be talking about the benefits of being delusional.
Completely. Yeah, in and of itself, like when you look at the definition of delusional, it's usually associated with someone who is clinically insane. Like literally like has been diagnosed by, healthcare professionals. So you're right. It's flipping it on its head and kind of adding in some of that, maybe insanity to our own logic and thinking. You mentioned vulnerability. I think that when we open ourselves up to what we think we're capable of, that can be really hard to swallow in and of itself. I think the reason that dreams are so sacred to us and goals and why we don't speak them into existence is because if they're just dreams and we don't say them, we can keep them to ourselves. Yeah. Nobody's judging you if you failed or if you achieved anything. Yeah. So part of being delusionally confident, I think part of that persona is screaming it from the rooftops and saying, hey, like, I'm going to be, for example, the greatest basketball player in the world. Yeah. Most people would say, keep that to yourself. Like, literally don't ever say that again. That's insane. Yeah. Right? So, like, what part for you do you feel like in your own life you either need to focus more on, being more vulnerable in that sense, or do you feel like it doesn't play a big role?
I think it does. I think we are so capable, so capable of achieving the things that are within us. It's just we are afraid of what we are capable of. Yeah. We are afraid that we can do this, what this might change, how difficult it might be, the challenges that we have to overcome, the life experiences that will, effort that we'll have to put into that. Yeah. I think we all know that things are within reach. It's just the fear of doing it all, of putting in all the hours, the time, etc. So that's kind of how I see it, at least for me, of like an ambitious goal, let's say. It should be scary. Yeah. And I'm trying to break down that fear, and I think delusion can help a lot. Yeah. In that.
No, I think that you're right. I think that this kind of embarrassment or fear, especially for me in my life, of kind of going out and achieving big dreams. For example, when we first started the podcast, that felt like something that was outrageously difficult to kind of figure out and get started.
Yeah, still does sometimes.
Still does. But I think that the bigger thing that was almost a hurdle to get over was broadcasting the podcast to a bunch of people that I previously know.
Your own voice.
Yeah. And like, it's this idea that you are stepping out of a world in which others have created, or you've imagined that others have created for you, a box that people have put you in. Yeah. When in reality, that is usually created by yourself. And so now I feel that, from a delusion standpoint, because I've practiced it and done it a bunch, it feels like I can more generously be like, hey, just say whatever you want. Like whatever goals you want, just say it and do it. Because usually that judgment is only inside of ourselves on what we can possibly achieve.
Yeah. We are creating that box, like you said. Yeah. We are creating that environment, that story that we think is coming from someone else or from family or from, hey, you can't do this. It's really you accepted that story and you put that, within your environment or your lens for life. So it's like, I think delusion can be both. Like you can be delusionally like unaware of what you're capable of or have very self-deprecating beliefs of what's possible for you, of I'm not good enough, I could never do such a thing. We put others and other people and
high regard,
people on TV in high regard on a pedestal, and we don't think or believe within ourselves of what's possible. So I think there's that perspective, but there's also the perspective of everything is it within my own reach. I could be so delusionally confident in what's possible, and I'm not arguing for one over the other, but like I'd rather live in that bucket of effort and trying and growth instead of that self-deprecation.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. I think that one thing that you talked about too is this idea that people that maybe have achieved our goals or dreams are so out of reach, or they're on TV or they're in the big game, etc. And one thing that I was listening to and reading about on this topic was this idea of how many opportunities are out there that are just collecting dust. It's like, we've talked about this before on the podcast, but the idea of abundance. There's this idea that we've built up inside of our head, inside of society, that, well, there's only so much wealth, or there's only so many spots on TV or on the team, or there's only so many companies that can have CEOs, and it's like, that is completely and totally, there's an abundance of everything. You can create more and more and more. And so it's kind of this idea that the example she used was there were 14 scholarships this program was giving, but only 12 people applied because only 12 people thought, and they all got it. Yeah. And so there are 2 scholarships out there that just went unclaimed. Yeah. And so it's this idea that in life, what are the opportunities that are out there for you that are just collecting dust because you've told yourself, well, there's no way I could pass the qualifications for that. They never pick me. Yeah. So I'm not even going to apply.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that little bit of effort to put myself in the game, to play the cards we have. So, that's fascinating of like, if we could see what opportunities we're missing from just not, making that extra call or going to a certain thing or pursuing a dream or a goal, just from a fear or a limiting worldview that you might have. So it's interesting.
And a quick question to flip the script a little bit. From the outside looking in, and I think I know a little bit about this, maybe it's from an insecure point of view, but do you ever get pissed off at people that you know, or internally, reverse, it could be yourself, but do you know people that are like this, that are delusionally confident? And have you ever been pissed off at people that have
sitting
this?
next to them.
Have you ever been pissed off at people that have this kind of, like you said, this brashness of, hey, I'm crazy enough to believe that I can change the world. That their confidence, their grandeur is almost annoying or pisses you off.
Yeah, I mean, I've just it doesn't really apply to the magnitude that you're asking. Like I've played with teammates, that believe in their ability so well, but just maybe it doesn't reflect in game time results, or maybe they should not be starting. Maybe they should be the third string goalie, or so it's like I've seen examples where delusional, like that mentality can go too far without substance. However, I've seen it too where it's helped them grow too, or put them in more vulnerable positions, for that growth, for that opportunity to have those big time moments. So, yes, but also I think that there is a negative side to that too, though.
Yeah, I think in past I definitely know people that I've been pissed off with before that have expressed their goals, and they say, somewhere it's like, and I'm do the same thing, roll my eyes and say, yeah, okay, like no way, right? Now I look at it and I say, if I'm thinking about it for myself and my own delusional confidence, I would hope that people out there would be pissed off or would be like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Because if everyone agrees with what you're saying and saying, hey, like, oh yeah, like he could probably do that.
Yeah.
Then that means that whatever you're thinking of trying to achieve is probably too small if everyone believes that you're capable of doing that. It's like you almost have to, when we're talking about the idea of delusion, it's like you have to think of, stretch yourself to be like, hey, I kind of want to be out of the realm of what normal people consider like logical for me to achieve.
Sure.
And I love that, like right now, Shane has started, he's done his marathon pursuit. He's getting ready to do his third one. I'm getting ready to do my first one this weekend, but even talking to people about potentially coming close to 3 hours,
sure,
anywhere below 3 hours and 20 minutes. For a lot of people, that's crazy. And for, I know Shane has his own goals and I do too, but at one point to go, past 3 or something, go under 3, that for me sounds crazy. But in my mind, I'm like, I just need to keep saying that that's possible.
Yeah.
And the more people that are like, man, there's no way that's impossible, I almost feel like it's better because that means that I'm on the right track of.
Exactly. It's like, it's a tool that we can use to help wrap our mind around the goal or what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Just like that internal belief, I think, is so crucial in order to continue along that path. I do think there is something to balancing effort with
completely
being delusional. I mean, we could be believing so much into ourselves, being cocky, confident, like the things that we don't talk about, with no humility, no accountability, or check-ins with where you actually are within a goal or dream. So I think it's like, how do we blend that effort and accountability along with that kind of delusional self-belief in self to fuel you to get there. So
completely.
Yeah.
I think that, like you hit on a good point there, which is really being aware of where you're at and what that's going to possibly take to achieve. Yeah. One thing that I really do not like is there's a guy that's like kind of a motivational speaker named Grant Cardone that talks about 10X. It's just, I totally believe in, you could 10X your thinking, 10X your belief within yourself, and that you could 10 times, whatever you think is possible, 10 times that. But when it comes to your work rate, you have to be aware that like, hey, I have certain things that I can do within a day and what's possible. Like you said, the substance, the effort.
Yeah.
And so what's so important about this topic is that self-belief is going to drive like your mindset, your emotions, whatever your output is, like as far as, your physical, if that's workouts, if that's, cold calls made, if that's decks presented, it's like, that should be the driving force behind what you think is possible. Don't think that you have to do 10 times the physical work.
Yeah.
Because you'll kill yourself probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's matching that substance to what your mind is believing you can do.
Yeah, totally. And I really think it's for the times of my life, or the times of your, like the times of our listeners' lives when they feel like they aren't capable.
Yeah.
Like it's a tool, within your tool belt that you can use when you don't have that belief.
Yeah.
Maybe you're doing well from an effort and output standpoint, but, could be doing better just because you have a limiting belief.
Yeah.
Or maybe you aren't willing to put in the work because you have that belief in yourself. So I think it's more of like, how can we leverage that?
Yeah.
Instead of letting fear decide or insecurity decide or circling thoughts decide the actions you take. Completely.
Let's get into some of the hows on how to kind of build this delusional confidence, on a tool, on a usable basis.
Yeah. I think this is maybe one where we don't I would say we still want to reflect on where we are today. I think it's important to see where you are making fear-based decisions, or you're acting from insecurity, you're acting from a pattern in your life of this is how I did it in the past, this is where I feel safe and comfortable, so I'm going to continue on this path.
Yeah.
So I think if we can identify kind of where our decisions are being made from, I think that's a good, at least identifier, and maybe we can tweak some of our mindset from there.
Yeah. I love that idea of identify where our decisions are being, kind of made from, and like what we believe we're capable of. I think especially when it comes to the part of, the dreaming part or the goals part, or kind of building up what that vision of delusional confidence looks like. I think that you have to, it's kind of something we talked about when we were talking about a book that we were reading back. I forget what it was called, but it's an orange book. We talked about it like 2 months ago. But there was this idea that she in the book would say, like every chapter always started with, you have to physically write out what that world looks like. What does your life look like? Imagine that you're the happiest you've ever been within your life.
Yeah, put clarity on it.
Exactly. And that can be when, I think that for me, when it comes to delusional confidence, something that I struggle with is that I think I have confidence within myself, but without putting a vision, putting it down into words, speaking it into existence, I can kind of revert into a shell if I ever have those moments of self-doubt creeping in.
Yeah. I think you potentially gave us two right there.
Yeah.
I think one is like, okay, what is our compass going to be for joy, for what do you want your life to look at like?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I want to have quality, say it's better relationships, or doing this thing, or living this life, this environment, etc. So if we can use kind of joy or things that we like or maybe are interested in as that kind of compass to where we're headed.
Yeah.
And use that as our why. And then your second one was, okay, let's make it crystal clear on how that looks. I think that is more of a specific plan that we can put in place of, okay, we can tap into being confident here of this with is within my reach. It may seem far-fetched right now, but I'm going to tap into my delusional, naive mindset to help get me there.
No, I love it. I love it. Let's get into why we're talking about this today.
Yeah. I think I've played in both of these buckets. Mm-hmm. I do daily. Like, I'm insecure about a lot of things. I am super confident on things too. So it's like, I think there is reasons for both. Like, fear is important, like an important tool. And I want to be able to know where I'm making my decisions from. Like, being able to make better decisions in life. Like, I want to be able to have agency to do things well. So I think that looking at delusional confidence, I think it's a tool that I can use to help me realize what's possible for myself.
Yeah.
Help me along my journey, along my goals, and can help fuel me along the way instead of letting fear decide or those insecurities. We can listen and kind of understand where they're coming from, but I don't know if letting that fear decide will be that right answer. So that's where I think we can use that confidence.
Yeah, completely. I think for myself, I've been on kind of this journey over the past couple of years where I'm starting to develop a lot of the confidence again that I feel like I had prior. And right now, I feel like it's been a lot of quiet confidence in that I know that I'm capable and can achieve that, but I haven't really returned to the world of like really showing it outwardly and taking those chances on a more regular basis. So for me, this is really about kind of outwardly speaking into existence that delusional confidence, as opposed to keeping it tucked away in a safe space inside to where it's not benefiting the world and it's not benefiting me.
Yeah. And it just is able to grow. Like, you're able to create accountability. You're able to speak it and put it into existence better comparatively to keeping that inside.
Completely.
So I love that. So today we talked about delusional confidence.
Yep.
Really, this idea was really a topic around confidence.
Yeah.
And we think that it is something that can be used for the better. It is okay to be delusional, to be naive when it comes to your goals. We want to back it with effort and accountability, yes, but at the same time, if fear, insecurity, the status quo is what you are making your decisions from, this is where you can tap into why not me?
Yeah.
Why can't I do this thing? So that's really the what. Today.
Yeah. Then we kind of began with our house. The first step was kind of looking at, as per usual, like where we're at right now and identifying what is leading us to the decisions that we are making or the goals that we've normally put for ourselves, the limitations that we maybe have put on ourselves. Yeah.
Our second was use joy, interest, experiences that you're interested in as kind of a compass. Like, what do you want out of your life?
Yeah.
So use that as a direction for you. And then the second step, along with that is, okay, make it clear.
Crystal clear.
How can you describe it? Put detail into it, and that will kind of be more on your how of, okay, this is what it would look like. This is a plan I can build from there. This is where I can tap into delusional confidence, belief within myself, and overcome some of that self-deprecating thoughts that we might have.
Completely. Then we got a little bit into the whys. For myself, just talked a lot about kind of using delusional confidence now as this place for my own confidence to grow and be cultivated, as opposed to keeping it safe and tucked away where only I can really know what my goals are and what's capable.
Yeah, totally. Mine was similar. I think that we all have, everyone has insecurities. Periods of confidence. I've experienced both and I continue to experience both. And I want to be able to make better decisions for myself, listening and tapping into where are my fear-based decisions, insecure thoughts, etc. But also using confidence, at my disposal to help me along goals I have and dreams I have.
Completely. And one last thing before we leave, I have a quick exercise.
Yeah.
What's one delusionally confident thing that you want to speak out
Oh, man.
onto the pod?
Yeah, I'm pretty nerdy when it comes to like running, fitness, and health.
Yeah.
I'm very confident in my ability in that domain, and it's something that I want to flex a little more. It's something I want to practice and coach. You know, I've been coaching you a little bit here, but that's my delusional confident thing I want to speak into the world.
Awesome. I think for me, it would be this year, I would like to form the creative studio and really like incorporate it and be able to like before fall.
Yeah.
So within 6 months, I'd like to have that like financially down on paper, like LLC, and then go from there.
Love it, man. Love it. We'll see it happen then.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that wraps another week of
What is Humans.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.